morning, sports fans. Well, kind of a cloudy day today, and we're in northern Indiana, but we're heading north. Well, right now we're actually heading east, but we will be heading north. Gonna visit an area known as Three Rivers. Why, you ask? Well, I can tell you why the name did Three Rivers, because there's three rivers that come together there. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, maybe. Right now, we're just heading on down the road, heading to Three Rivers, Michigan. And we'll see you down the road. One of the first things I noticed coming into town was that Elks Club. Really kind of a unique building, isn't it? So where I'm at now? Well, you're probably wondering where I'm at right now, but I kind of told you on the way in. But I'm uptown, old part of town, Three Rivers, Michigan. And I'm going to walk around town a little bit before the rain gets here. And it looks like it's going to rain today. And we'll see what we got here in this old town. See that building back there was abandoned. But we'll take a look, see. And I'll take you along with me. This is a big intersection in town. Highways around here merge right about here. M86. 131 and M60 all come together right here. So I'll see you around town. Three Rivers got its name, Three Rivers, because there's three rivers running through town. Makes sense to me. You got the Rocky River, the Portage River, and the St. Joe River. I believe that the Rocky and the Portage empty into the St. Joe, which empties into Lake Michigan. How about that? Now, some things I noticed about town, that it's somewhat clean. The sidewalks aren't very large, very wide, I should say. So that takes away if they're ever plan to do any outside seating. I suppose you could do it, but it would be pretty narrow. The alleyways are used, however, and they're very neat, very clean, well done. We've seen that once before, if I remember right. The other thing I noticed was probably unoccupied is probably pretty low. It's probably 10 to 20%, maybe. The other thing I noticed was all the upstairs units. If they weren't occupied, they sure looked like they were. That could be apartments or it could be offices up there. Now, some of them probably weren't occupied, but the lower buildings weren't either. You can see these are occupied. And that means that the second story of these buildings looks pretty good, even from the outside. So I'm going to give that to Three Rivers as a plus. A lot of older buildings, mixed with a few that are a little bit newer. Now they have a couple of big festivals every year. The Harmony Festivals in September, early September. Just missed that one. And that's a pretty big deal. They pack them in for that. There's a lot of entertainment, booths of all kinds, crafts and so forth. Okay, well, we walked. Town is about 2.5 blocks maybe long. The center of town here. And I walked to one side. See across the way where we got Old Town Treasures, real estate office. Downtown Dog, not sure what Downtown Dog is, but they got it. Real estate office. Riviera Theater, and I'm not sure what's going on there. Got trivia on Thursday nights. So it's a theater barn. That's clever. And I'm going to be walking under guy repairing the lights there. That's a restaurant we just walked by. Across the street we got one. Looks like 3 empties over there. And we got an attorney's office. Well, you can't have a city without 2 or 3 attorneys. Another empty one. Another building being restored. Be a salon. I'm passing a jeweler here on this side. Take a look what we're kind of going by. Sherwin-Williams. We've seen this from the other side. Pan around here a little bit. Kind of shops across the street. Bookstores, 2 bookstores. Well, let me take that back. Looks like 3 bookstores in a row. So yeah, we'll get the other camera out. Take a better look around here. A couple other facts about town. They have a pretty good school system here. They got a total enrollment of 2,371 students, and they have a student-to-teacher ratio of 16.95 to 1. The high school's enrollment is 680, and that comes out of that 2371. Gives you a picture of a better idea what those alleyways look like, and they seat people out there. Well, why not? Now, probably not a really great fact about the city. Its crime rate. Violent crime is higher than the national average. It's 6.2% higher. Crime overall is 21.4% higher than the national average. So they have a little bit of a crime problem here in Three Rivers. Now, it's here early in the morning, so there's not a whole lot going on. But there are some eating places down here that look pretty nice. Brewery down here. That building there is in front of the GMC's being remodeled. That gives you an idea of the strip there. And they fill that up during that Harmony Festival. There's a Lonesome Soul. Yep, there he goes. Camera in hand. Now, I'm not sure which river this is. My guess would be the St. Joe. Now, although town is very, seems to be kind of neat and clean, there are areas that need cleaning up, and this is one down here by this bridge. Well, I'm at the Conservation Park, which is right downtown Three Rivers, about a block off of the main drag. We're gonna walk around this park and take a look. You're probably wondering what's here that's interesting. Well, I'm looking for something in particular. I'm having a hard time finding it. But not unusual. But this looks like an interesting park. What we have here is a boat launch right here. Well, I'm going to go up to this boat launch and look down the river, see what's floating around. And I'm going to take you with me. I don't want you to be bored or anything like that. Wow. Geese. Like another park on the other side. I'm going to try to get to that park too. Take a look and see if I can find what I'm looking for. But we'll take a look around here a little bit too, see what's going on. Well, of course, we have geese. Geese here, geese there, geese everywhere. And worst part, geese droppings everywhere. Gotta watch where you walk. Well, we're going to move on around across the river to the other side of that park. Typical neighborhoods. Well, I'm at a park across the way from the park we just left, and I believe it's Memorial Park, but I can't hold me to that. I'll let you know later. And we're gonna look around here. I don't know if you can see these people in that car right there. They got the entryway blocked so they can talk. Yeah. So let's walk around this park and see what we got. Small park, but I'll take you with me. Here we go. There's downtown. Not sure why they had a lighthouse here, but they've got one, and they've got geese. Now this is it looks like a creek or a river that runs back into the St. Joe. Not sure of that, of course. It's a nice little park. Nice walkways around here. You can take a walk. Very neat park. And here they have a, I don't know if it's a petting zoo or what it is, but it kind of looks like a petting zoo. They house several different types of animals there that are all the kind that you would see at a petting zoo. They've diverted some of the water to flow into this pond, and then there's another way that it flows back out, which is pretty good. Now over here on the other side, well, look at here, Mr. and Mrs. Duck, Mr. and Mrs. Mallard. Yeah, here's that other side, and it looks like one time they may have had a somewhat of a zoo here with some animals that they housed. And there's one great big mushroom. But I don't think there's anything in there now. I think this is pretty much abandoned. I thought at one time maybe this was part of the Kellogg's rock garden. But I don't believe so. I believe that the rock garden was out of town just a wee bit. Armstrong Park. Sports facilities. Big park. A lot of walkways. And they house a lot of different sports here. Bowman Park. Small park. Just on the way out of town. In the middle of a residential area. This is a monument to the Civil War. And the people from the county that died in that war in different battles. And they list the battle and the names of each one. They lost a lot of people. Well, I'm out now trying to find a covered bridge. This wasn't much of a fun drive, although it was unique. This road was a washboard. Okay. Well, that was Three Rivers, Michigan. Very interesting. I gotta tell you a couple things. One, I wanted to go out to the covered bridge. It's maybe 8 miles out of town. Out in the country, out in the sticks. And the first thing I hit was a road closure. So there's a detour. Pretty bumpy dirt road. Now it's damp enough there wasn't a lot of dust, thank goodness. But it was sure washboardy. And then I got down into the woods on that dirt road, and it narrowed and got dark, and it was up and down and around. Thought I'd never get out of there. Well, I got out of there, and the GPS took me to a barn. And I showed you that barn, and I thought it was either a restaurant or they held special events there. So anyway, I left there, and by golly, I saw the covered bridge off in the distance, probably about a mile away across the river. And it's a long bridge. So I thought, well, maybe I can get down there. Well, I couldn't. The road was closed for construction again. So no matter which way you went, you couldn't get to the bridge. I would have had to get out and walked maybe 3/4 of a mile to get to that bridge, which with all the construction, I didn't really want to do that. So now I'm down there closer to the bridge though, and I got to take another detour. So the GPS gets me a detour, and it's not the one I took getting in, because I'd had to go back for that. So I turned on this little detour, and oh my gosh, now it got real interesting. I was on this one lane dirt road, I guess you could call it that. Big potholes full of water. Nowhere to go but through them, slowly, of course, very slowly, because there was nothing on the right and nothing on the left but trees and bushes, and they're scraping the old GMC as it was. Well, that wasn't the worst of it. A couple turns down and around, and all of a sudden there's this huge hole in the road that you got to go down maybe 3 or 4 foot into the hole full of water, up the other side, lean a little bit to the left, hit another chuck hole into the right, turn in another great big hole up and down. Now I wasn't sure the old GMC was going to survive that, to tell you the truth, because what that was, it turned out, well, I don't know for sure, but to me, it would have been a great Jeep, place for a Jeep to run, or that off-road type of thing that thrives on running the roughest roads they can find. That would have been the place to be. Happy to get off of that road, but I just got me on another dirt road, washboard road, for another 4 miles. Well, 2 to 4 miles. Very interesting to get. Finally got back to Three Rivers, and by that time I was done. So I stopped at a Burger King. Closed, I guess. Nobody there. Well, stopped at McDonald's, got me an old McDonald's hamburger and a drink, and then hit the road. That was one of the experiences. The other experience was, and I was looking for the Kellogg's Rock Garden. I'd seen some pictures of it on the internet, and man, that thing looked cool. I thought I gotta get out there to see that. Well, it's a good idea, except I don't think it's open anymore. I searched the internet high and low trying to find an address, couldn't do it. I talked to a couple locals and they said, oh, I don't think that's open anymore. I think that's closed down a long time ago. Well, the hunt for that was a waste of time. So we got to see what we got to see. Know a little bit more about the town, but harrowing drive to say the least there. So I'm back here on the Indiana Toll Road, buzzing along at about 74 miles an hour, and I wouldn't speed, of course. But kind of anxious to get home. That was kind of a rough driving back in there, but yeah. And it looked like rain all day long. It didn't rain on me. It was a mist a couple of times. So I did dodge the rain, thank goodness. But as all the mud I got under this truck right now, a little rain wouldn't be a bad thing. I bet the tires and wheels are really muddy. Well, maybe they got washed off going down there through those little lakes I went through on that road. Sports fans, that's it from old Ben's Hang-Ups today. I'll see you folks down the road.